Okay, Jess and I are here with our 99 Ford Contour doing the rear shocks. Got the car jacked up. Here's the rear shocks. I put some WD-40 where actually it's a strut, sorry. The strut goes into the, so I don't even know what these things are called, but to the wheel. And I'm gonna have to take out this one here. 2 bolts up there, and we're gonna drop it, and we'll pull out that pin so the brake line can come down, but we don't have to disconnect the brake, don't have to disconnect anything else except for the 1 bolt that holds on the strut on the bottom and the 2 up on top, and this little piece from the brake line. So we'll do that and come back. Remember, when you go to knock out a bolt, leave the little nut on so that you don't hammer the threads and just tap it. I'm not going to do this with one hand, but I'm just going to tap it out. So this is a little bit tight to knock that out. So I just put a jack under the drum here. I got the emergency brake on. I'm just going to lift it up a little bit, take some of that pressure off so I can knock it out easy. Pause that. So I just put a box underneath the brake drum so when this assembly falls off the strut, it doesn't pull too hard on our brake line. You can see I've just bent that out of the way once I pulled the pin. And now I just tap it. Coming. There it is. Pause that for a sec, Scoots. So I want to get my socket out so I can bring the strut down so it's not so much tension on that spring. So I just set a bottle jack underneath there with a extension. So I lift it up a tiny bit.
Okay, so you want to start over again?
Okay, so I want to get out of my socket so I can drop the strut back down and take some of the tension off this spring. So when I pull it out, so I just have a bottle jack, just rink-a-dink to try and get it up there a little bit. Okay. Pull that out. Good enough. So I just want to pull this out. Just put the hammer on there. Here it comes. Get ready. There we go. You might, the water, I sprayed all the mud out from under my car so it'd be less dirty. So there was just some water in here. That's the liquid you saw. But like the brake line's fine, everything's good. Next we'll compress the spring and put the new strut on. All right, so just taking off, this is the old one. I've taken the boot, put it on the new one. I've started to put on the cap and tighten it down. I just wanted to point out, it was actually quite hard to get this off because it had been sitting on there for so long. So I had to use a ratchet, and then I just went ahead and grabbed on with pliers on the inside. I pushed the boot up, grabbed on, because it doesn't matter if the old one gets scratched up. But on the new one, I think they have this little piece on the top so you can hold it. Mine had 4 threads showing, so I'll just grab on right here and tighten that up to 4 threads showing. That's it. Okay, I don't know if it's just because it's a aftermarket part or what, but it is hard to get the strut to fit back through the wheel assembly. It just takes time. And I would jack like the back and then the front, and then kind of drop the front, and it'd move down a little bit, and I don't know, eventually it just went and slid all the way in. But what's that? You could, we did try some heat, we did try some cold. It was scraping the paint off anyway, so I went ahead and sanded it a little bit. Anyway, it just takes time. Just be patient. Use your jacks to kind of pivot the piece so that the wheel assembly, so it goes back up the strut. I'm gonna have to come back under and just lift this up a tiny bit so I can get my bolt through. It dropped down a little bit too far, but not much. And put my other pieces back together. Again, I'll use the jack to move the axle, so this is easy to put on, and we're done.